Hey everybody, it's Onslaught here with another Disney Sorcerer's Arena video. And this time we got something special because today is the Monday Metagame Breakdown. That's right, in this video we're going to touch base on the metagame changes from a week to week standpoint. We're going to look at some charts, we're going to look at the top leaders in both Arena and Sorcerer's Tournament, and we're going to take a look at the top 5 to 10 squads in each of those categories from ranks 41 all the way through rank 60. If you're a player that doesn't fall in those ranks, you're obviously grinding up very quickly, and you're going to find yourself in one of those categories very soon. So I wanted to be able to provide that information to you so that you knew what was coming and you knew how to prepare. Now, the disclaimer is, all of this information, you can go ahead and check the description in the video, is being found and brought to you by DSA Fan and the teams there, especially Disney Titans, people like Cozy Gamer, all of his friends. So this is not information that I am generating myself. However, it is information that I've gone and found and pulled and am presenting in this fashion. So I recommend you going over and checking out that website. If you want to donate, become a patron, get access to some of their premium stuff. Right now, they're still working on a lot of the things. I still recommend going over and checking it out. It is something I'm going to look into and hopefully be able to provide more quality information later on. But let's go ahead and check out what we have in this video right here. So the first thing that we're going to have is we have leader abilities, okay? And these are the leaders that are being used in PvP between levels 41 and level 60. So we're going to start 41 to 50. It's the first bracket that they have. It's the first bracket they've broken it down on. If you're not familiar with the leader abilities, you want to go ahead and refresh yourself on those, and you want to go ahead and check out the video that we have on the leadership rankings of all the 16 leaders that are in the game. So, obviously, to no surprise, Ariel is the number one leader. Well, not number one. Let me rephrase this. The most popular leader in this category, in this level bracket. Reason being, everybody has access to her. She has a leadership ability that applies to everybody on your roster, so it doesn't matter who you have. You can essentially just say Ariel and then the best 4 players on my team, and you're going to see yourself going in there. Now, Shan Yu starts to play a really big role in this category as well, because Shan Yu, Kingdom Team, he's got a really powerful leadership ability. It's easily one of the top leadership abilities in the game. I think it's number 1 until we get a better Hero Hadama squad and tech team, in which case I believe we're going to see Hero take over that number 1 spot. But going on down through, you're not going to notice a big difference from week to week in this category and some of the other categories, and I'm hoping that as more information and data arises, that we're going to start to see bigger changes in that. Even shifts from, like, you're going to notice there's not even a shift in any of the numbers. Like, it's exactly the same numbers. So I don't know if just their system didn't update. Maybe their system updates monthly, but that's why I'm bringing these videos in so that we can take a look at it. We can better the information they're trying to provide, and just give more players access to this information so that our metagame evolves and changes, and that we can have more fun and we can grow together as a community. So aside from Ariel and Shan Yu, you're going to see players using Ana, you're going to see players using Syndrome, Dr. Facilier, Judy Hopps, Elastigirl, Hopper, Woody, and Bo Peep. The margins dwindle down pretty hard, but not a lot of players have access to these characters at this level. So let's go ahead and check out what's happening in the 51 to 60 category. So the biggest thing that we noticed just going from rank 50 to the 51 bracket is that Ariel goes from being everywhere to almost nowhere, right? You're going to see Ariel jumping from 19,000 people using her as a leader down to 2,000 people using her as a leader. Shan Yu, even though Shan Yu's number goes down, his percentage is going up. So as you continue to climb up the PvP arena, expect to see more Shan Yu in relation to everybody else. The next big one that we see a jump in is Ana. Her numbers don't change a whole lot, but again, her percentage goes up. Okay, we're going to lose Woody as a leader. We're going to gain Mr. Incredible in there, but again, 27, not a very significant number. You're looking at Ariel for leftover leader ability, she's kind of going to get clumped in there. And then you got a pretty even mix of Syndrome Facilier, right? So it's either that 8% critical, that 8% potency, just trying to make some of your other top characters hit harder. Most likely because of the flavor of their rosters. They just like those characters. They needed a leader that went along with those, and so that's what they wound up with. So PvP Arena, expect to see as you climb up more Shan Yus, more Anas, which means more Kingdom teams, more Frozen teams, and then I would hope to see a rise in leaders soon over the next couple weeks that counter those leaders and counter those teams. Moving into leaders on attack, this is the Sorcerer's Tournament. Okay, this is the teams that people are using to attack the preset defenses within the game. Okay, from level 41 to 50, you're not going to notice too big of a difference between these numbers and the PvP. Why is that? Most likely because you just don't have access to a lot of characters. You're still new to the game. You are not max level yet. We're just still climbing, and we're just using the best team. And I remember being there not that long ago. I just broke the 51 bracket. I used to have the same 3 teams for attack, PvP, and defense, so it's not shocking. But again, showing you the numbers just so that you see them. Big aerial percentages, big Shan Yu percentages, and then everybody else just kind of falling in. Still a lot of Ana at 3,100 players using them, but as we move up into the 51 to 60 bracket, you're going to see Shan Yu take over. You're going to see Ana jump up and move up a little bit, even though their overall numbers are going down. So players having more access is one of the reasons why we start to see it go down. You're going to see Hiro Hamada. I think I called him Hadama earlier. I apologize. Hiro Hamada jumping up in there and finally making it. The 2 things to consider in the 51 to 60 bracket is there are less players within that bracket. So the overall numbers of leaders we're going to see is just naturally going to go down. And players are also going to have access to a more diverse set of characters, allowing them to use more leaders. Now, this is also pulling information from the preset teams that you'd been using, and it's the team that was currently being used when the data got pulled. So if you've been experimenting with Sorcerer's Tournament teams, you're typically a Frozen team attacker, and you decide to attack with a Toy Story team, and then boom, the data gets pulled. Your information being submitted to DSA Fan is going to be that Toy Story team and not your Frozen team. Same thing with defenses. Okay, so we go ahead and we move on to the leaders on defense. Again, these are just leaders. These are not squads yet. So top leaders on defense, again, no surprise, big aerials, big Shan Yus, and then Ana falling into that 4th spot with Syndrome still making up a lot of it. Why? These are characters that are down on the bottom of the bracket. They're easy to grab. They're easy to farm up. They have decent abilities. Same thing that we've been saying overall. Okay, same type of jump that we're going to see moving into the 51 to 60 bracket. We're going to see Shan Yu taking over. But again, look at the percentage that Shan Yu has. He's just barely under 51%. Whereas when we touch back before to leaders on attack, Shan Yu is significantly further. So we're probably looking at 53, 54% Shan Yu, maybe a little bit higher when it comes to attack. And then on defense, you're looking at more like 47, 48% of the teams. So Shan Yu not as popular on defense in these brackets as he is on offense. More players attacking with Shan Yu and getting that bonus to Kingdom for attack rather than seeing it on defense. So the next thing that we're going to look at is we're going to start to look at squads. Okay, and the percentages, because there are just so many teams being used within these with these brackets, is the percentages are almost always going to be at 0 or 1. So ignore that number on the far right. But look at the total number of teams in that first column. Okay, so the top squads that we're going to see in PvP from that 41 to 50 bracket last week, we had Shan Yu being the lead in that top team at 260, but really, really close behind. We saw a lot of people running Ariel, Buzz, Anger, Aladdin, and Sully. Okay, these are just characters they had. They're moved up. It's 41 to 50. Most players watching this video are going to be either just getting out of this bracket or they're going to be top players. If you're below that and you're checking it out, again, beginners getting into the game, these are the squads that you're going to be looking at. This is simply because these are the characters that they had available. You look at that 4th team down with Shan Yu as the lead, Jasmine, Aladdin, Robin Hood, and Big Bad Wolf. This is more typically a team you're going to want to try to get your hands on because this is a team that continue to grow, continue to evolve. Big Bad Wolf's a great character for offense, hard hitting, got a lot of area effects and some lifesteal. The rest of them fall in the Kingdom category and are going to see viability as we continue to move forward. Top squads in PvP from the 51 to 60 brackets. This is up to that max level of characters. We're going to see a lot more Shan Yu leads, and we're finally starting to see some Frozen teams coming in. So again, no difference really from last week to this week in terms of numbers, in terms of squads. I think there might have been just a snag in like the updating, because in the squads there is going to be a big difference later on in the attacking and defensive teams. So there's a chance, just the information I pulled, again, I pulled on the Mondays that I hadn't updated yet. The more familiar I get with the system, the more the system updates, the more diverse our data is going to become, and the better we're going to be able to analyze this metagame. Most of the teams see a lot of Sorcerer Mickey, a lot of Aladdin, okay? Falling in with Shan Yu, Jack Sparrow, and Jasmine kind of sharing the lead, and then Anna also sharing her way in there. So if you're thinking about characters to go ahead and farm to get yourself in that arena, or essentially counter some of these are the characters you want to be looking at, either to farm or find counters for. Okay, going into the Sorcerer's Tournament for that lower bracket, 41 to 50, really similar type teams, and not a shock, because this is typically, as we look at it, this is just typically what we're going to notice is just the best characters that you have. We've already touched base on this, so it's not a shock that we're seeing the same teams overlapping, but we're going to notice a bigger difference in the 51 to 60 bracket, because even though the attack teams are very similar, if not identical, to the PvP teams, as this continues to grow and evolve and players get access to more characters, we're going to start to see that. But looking at the defensive teams, and I think defensive teams is where we're going to notice the biggest change. Okay, so defensive teams, looking at last week, that first aerial-led team is just gone. Okay, that second place team took it over, and we went from having 534 players running that top squad down to 300. They're not even on there. It just vanished. But only 390 players running that next top team, which still had an aerial lead, but looked more like a Kingdom-led team. Frozen moving its way up 2 whole spots in that top, so it's now the third favorite team to be putting on defense in that 41 to 50 bracket. And then moving on to defense, we're seeing Frozen making its way twice now in that bottom bracket for this week, with the inclusion of Emperor Zurg. So more players unlocking Elsa, more players getting Emperor Zurg, more players wailing in there. I'm thinking unlocking Elsa, but the event hasn't rolled around again. But more players with the rest of the characters farmed up high enough that it's going to be viable. Players had just recently grabbing Zurg, gearing him up, getting him up there. The Kingdom team still running strong at the top 3. It's not a shock when you look at the leadership abilities. It's not a shock when you look at where the meta's been. But we're starting to see a lot of Oceanic characters get released. It's going to take a few months for players to get them up to that top gear. And now I know that you're going to watch streamers, you're going to watch YouTubers, and other content creators who are going to get those characters up max gear really fast because they're going to wail on them. But you're not going to have 167 players there yet anytime soon. So expect to see a big fluctuation in the data every couple of months, every quarter. And that's really what we're looking to grab in these videos, is we're looking to have a lot of characters and a lot of teams get analyzed from that week-to-week standpoint and from that month-to-month standpoint. And so if we track the data for a long time, you guys stay with us, you hit that subscribe button, you get those notifications, we will be able to keep track of the difference and notice the things that are going on. I hope that this information is helpful to you. Again, this is just the first week, so it's going to get different, it's going to evolve, it's going to change, and as the information goes on, I'll start to provide to you not only a more full analysis, but a speculation on where I think we're going and characters to potentially farm after. I'm not going to have any characters to go after right now. I'm not going to try to plug my 2 cents in. I just wanted to get you guys this video because I'm still working on farming some of the characters myself. And I just released the events video. If you haven't seen it, you can go ahead and check that events video out and get an idea of how to farm characters within that. So if you like what you see, we're posting videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Feel free to check out some of the other videos. If you haven't made your mind up yet, that's going to do it for me here at Under the Radar Gaming. Ta-ta for now.